I believe probably 2, 3 months ago, I probably saved a kid's life. I found him completely immobile, hiding in his mother's closet. I had attempted to make contact with him. He was suspended from school. I went to the house, nobody answered the door. I contacted the mother. She advised me the door was unlocked and to go ahead and go in and look for him, and found him laying in his underwear in his mom's walk-in closet, unable to walk. His BAC, blood alcohol content, was taken about 2 hours after I found him, and was almost quadruple the legal limit.
What had he been drinking?
Vodka.
At home?
Yes, I believe he probably drank an entire fifth of vodka in a very short period
How
of time.
old was this person?
15, I believe, at the time.
15 years old.
He
If
was-
you hadn't walked in, what would have happened?
I believe, as does his mother, that it's entirely possible he could have died of alcohol poisoning. He was taken to the hospital by ambulance. They gave him IVs and monitored him. And when we went to court the next morning, he was there for approximately 12 hours. When we went to court the next morning, he still blew on a breathalyzer, I believe 0.125 or somewhere in that vicinity, which is, again, it's well over the legal limit. I don't hear it from my kids routinely. I'll hear it maybe a couple times a year, but I hear it from other probation officers that their kids are indicating how easy it is to go into some of the big box retail stores and grocery stores where they don't separate their alcohol from the rest of their food or
So what are the
items.
kind of stories you're hearing?
Primarily that they can go in and scout out what they want pretty casually without anybody taking too close of a look at them, stick it in their pocket, and walk out of the store. I get a handful of kids that are arrested every year for attempting to steal alcohol from these stores, and that leads me to believe, based on those offenses as well as information that they're giving me, that this is a fairly routine occurrence, not just for them, but for any teen who is attempting to get a hold of alcohol. Obviously, in a packaged liquor store, it's a much smaller environment. You're under scrutiny the moment that you walk into the building. You usually have a clerk that can eyeball most of the store if during the time they're in there. Whereas if you go to your local Payless, there's an aisle that has alcohol on it that's not being supervised by anybody necessarily, and may actually contain some regular food items that may warrant them going down that aisle to buy some pretzels or some peanuts or whatever that they have on there. But it's certainly a very difficult situation to control. It's in and out of your system so quickly. It really is, we're reliant on parents to supervise their kids and to know what their kids are doing, who they're hanging out with, following up if their child's going to a sleepover, go and check, make sure that they're really at the sleepover, that there is adult supervision.
Where was this mom when the 15-year-old kid was passed out in his mother's
She was with her other child on a field trip up in Chicago. She was a chaperone.
So the kid was home alone.
The plan was for him to stay with his grandparents, and he made a fake phone call to his father, who was at work, and asked and told his grandfather that he'd been given permission to go home.
So, what's mom going to do in that kind of circumstance?
Well, that was a challenging circumstance. As we've discussed though further, he's admitted to having a serious alcohol problem, and indicates that he has the resources to have any number of adults purchase alcohol for him and bring it over to his house at any time he wants.
He's
So I
bragging about it.
think part of the problem is that you get 21, 22, 23-year-olds who don't realize the impact of the decisions that they're making in terms of providing alcohol to juveniles. And in this individual's case, he's a prime candidate for long-term incarceration or possible death